Well, I haven't done a low-resolution car vlog in a while, but this feels like an appropriate way to sort of cap off the year, because, I don't know, over the course of the past semester that I've actually been teaching, I've kind of been reminded of why I started doing this, and I mean, most people, myself included, want their channels to grow and be successful, but I started this rather explicitly with the uh, intention of, just, well, having a platform. Uh, and now that I am no longer unemployed, I don't have this itching feeling that, like, I have to somehow make YouTube work, which I always knew was not realistic. But there was a while there where I was worried that it would be the only way I could ever get, well, any sort of work ever again. um, Obviously, that's not the case. I'm now happily working as a community college professor. And the period where I started chasing views was pretty short, to be honest. It was basically just the first 6 months of last year. Uh, and, not to be all blah, 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 everything happens for a reason, because that's just saying that, like I often say, everything does happen for a reason, because the universe is not purely random. There is such a thing as cause and effect, but really what people mean when they say that is that things happen for a reason that humans will find both intuitive and emotionally satisfying. And there's definitely a reason for pretty much everything, but it's not always something that we find uh, meaningful or even comprehensible. But I don't know. I feel like I learned how to put a little bit more effort into things, and I, you know, I think there is a value in just talking like this and sharing my thoughts, but I also think there's a value in sort of the viewer's time, right? You sitting there watching this, you have other things you could be doing with your time, and I'm always grateful that you want to sit and listen to what I have to say, and I, want to use that time reasonably efficiently. And, there are some caveats there, like a lot of people, use YouTube as a form of sort of, uh, background entertainment while they're doing other things. A lot of people want, longer content that they can, sit and watch while they're relaxing. But ultimately, I want to use the viewer's time reasonably efficiently. And also, there's just a lot of things that I wanted to learn how to do. I guess last year is when I learned to use Blender, and this year I started to make a lot more use of it. So, I don't know. Last year I did a recap of mistakes I made. Um, this year there's fewer of those, but, I can go over some. One is that I used permutations to explain entropy instead of combinations. That wasn't actually a mistake, though. That was a deliberate decision that I kind of regret. It's not completely wrong. The thing is, for classical mechanics, that's actually correct. But that's because in classical mechanics, distinguishable particles actually are distinguishable. In quantum mechanics, you need to account for the fact that permutations within the same overall state, like if you swap two particles but keep the rest of the state the same, that's not actually a different microstate in quantum mechanics. So classically, it actually is correct to conflate the multiplicity of states with permutations, but quantum mechanically, that's incorrect. Trying to think what else. I made fewer mistakes this year because I got a little bit more practiced, but there were, a few in there. And I also actually published fewer videos. That was the one that has been sort of bugging me the most, though, is like, it's not wrong, but I'm not sure it was a good idea to quite post it like that. Another mistake I made had to do with an editing error where I made a correction in VoiceOver, but then failed to fix an edit when I was talking about sort of the irreversible entropy change of shock waves. You can exactly, for an ideal gas, you can exactly calculate the entropy change across a shock wave as a function of the pressure ratio and the Mach number. But I said that you have to look it up, and for non-ideal gases, you definitely do have to look it up. But for an ideal gas, you can calculate it exactly. And people usually look it up even for an ideal gas because it's a little bit complicated, but it is nonetheless something that is, analytically solvable. So also made that editing mistake. A few other little things here and there, but those are the two main mistakes that have stuck out to me. If there's any others, please do let me know. And obviously I can't exactly post corrections, but I can put them in the text notes, etc. Because it's only sort of true that the things I said there, but it's actually an improvement because, again, in practice, you usually do look up the pressure ratio for Mach numbers, and also in practice, you usually do just use the multiplicity of states because you're doing things classically, and once you do things quantum mechanically, you have to make some other modifications anyways. So, overall, positive trajectory on the number of mistakes, so that's good. Yeah, though, technically I think I had a much more substantial subscriber growth, which, is a little bit vacuous because most of those come from publishing shorts. And I like publishing those, actually, because that's my air show footage, and I love airplanes and I love air shows, and it's fun for me to go back through my footage and have a reason to find sort of little highlights and stuff. And shorts are perfect for air shows because more often than not, the amount of time from when an aircraft enters sort of stage left, enters from the one end of the runway, the show line, to the time it passes through the other side, usually is only on the order of 15 to 30 seconds, and almost always under a minute. And the amount of time that a reasonable camera zoom can actually see the airplane is often even shorter. So it actually is something that naturally lends itself to that short format. It does not lend itself that well to vertical video because things are going very fast horizontally. So it would actually be the duration works well, but the vertical video does not. Versus now they actually allow longer shorts, but they're still vertical video. And then there's that vertical live streaming that I haven't done a whole lot of, but I might do more of. But yeah. I have a lot of other thoughts, and like I said, moving forward, I don't think I will do just how am I feeling today vlogs, but I don't know. I will continue to just put together things that I think are particularly interesting, and I think it's a good thing I've learned to put a little bit more effort into them, and I'm definitely very glad I learned to use Blender because that's extremely useful. But definitely not going to be terribly concerned with, channel growth now that I actually have a gig actually teaching people physics, so I don't need to worry about growing an audience to teach people physics online. Although, again, I'm very happy to also do it online, and especially because I get to explore whatever topics I want in whatever way I want. And, I like doing a class, and there's definitely a value to doing things in a class format where it's like there are certain things we need to get through so people can understand the other classes in their major so they can become scientists and engineers. And an addendum, since I now know the magic of editing, why I actually am so happy with teaching is, A, of course, I do love physics, and I would be happy to talk about it all day and explain it, and B, it has renewed a small amount of optimism for the future, which it might sound cheesy, but there's a reason that, I think any teacher worth their salt ends up repeating this, of like how impressed with and proud of their students they are. I like to think I've given them a halfway decent explanation, but it's, I don't think it's that's going to make them good scientists and engineers. It's quite frankly just their own motivation, and I have been quite impressed with that. Seeing the sort of next generation, I guess they're half a generation younger than me, mostly, get ready to start their journeys in science and engineering. I have hope for the future. It's not all, brain rot and whatnot. They really do care, and they really are quite bright. So that has made me considerably less depressed. I certainly hope I've done right by them and given them a halfway decent instruction on physics, because most of current semester are, engineering undergraduates. So they're very impressive, and I have some renewed optimism because of them, and I don't think my approval should mean that much to them, but they certainly have it. But it's also just fun to be able to, go into detail on whatever topic I'm interested in. So anyways, hope you all had a good year too. Thanks for everybody for subscribing and all that. Yeah, I guess happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that. And I guess I'll see y'all next year. Bye.